Hey, it's Tarrant.
And Stella from Meeple University. Today we have The Border by NSV. This game plays 2 to 4 players, and this is by one of the designers anyway, Michael Kiesling, which designed lots of well-known games such as Azul Stained Glass of Sintra,
Azul Queen's Garden,
Azul Summer Pavilion,
the Azul Crystal Mosaic expansion,
Azul Chocolate, anyways, Miyabi and so on.
Many more.
Many more. So this is a roll and write game. And you might say, roll and write, do we need more roll and write? Maybe you do, maybe you don't. This has got quite a unique thing to it as well. You might be interested. So we're gonna take you through the overview quickly and then what we think of it. But first, ta-da! This is also a dice tray, I think.
Yes.
There's a felt there.
Which is quite nice. Small box with the felt in there.
Yeah.
So this is a the border is all about, you've got this map and you're trying to encircle these landmarks.
There's 9.
There's 9 landmarks there. First person to encircle a landmark gets the higher number of points. Anyone else who does so gets the lower number. And once somebody has completed 6, the game is over. Simple as that. It is a lead and leftover sort of game. So there will be one lead player on any given turn who gets to Yahtzee roll these dice. Let me,
Let Yahtzee roll it.
there we go, that's
There
a
you
good
go.
result. Not a very illustrative result, actually.
Let's just, yeah, okay.
So we do a Yahtzee roll, and then the lead player gets to cross off anywhere on their map based on the colours rolled, as long as they completely finish a coloured segment.
Anyway,
So-
on the board.
Yes, so here, 3 blue. That means I could cross off these 3 blue here, or these 2 blue here, and leave 1 left over. Usually good to do them all, so I would cross off 3 like so. Now, because there's no single green section or single orange section, those are left over. And so all of the inactive players now get to use the leftover dice, but they don't have to completely fill in a region. They can just start slowly filling a region, but they're restricted to going adjacent to crosses they already have. So with this green and orange left over, all I could do would be cross green and orange, because those are the only ones adjacent.
You can see that this is slightly asymmetrical.
Yes, same shape, different colours.
Yeah.
Then play would go to the next player, and the next player would be the lead, would start to do a Yahtzee roll in the same way. Let's do this, like so. All right, so now if we look at this, I've got the same restrictions. I've got 2 reds, which I could use to cross off these 2 reds. My orange, this is now, I would now only need 2 oranges to fill in this, but I don't have 2 oranges, I only have 1. And I've got 2 greens. This is an interesting situation. I only need 1 green to fill this one in. So I would only use 1 of the greens, and I don't have a 2 green anywhere else. So now I've used these, I've left these ones for the opponent. The opponent would go and do likewise, so cross in
This
1.
green or, whatever.
Well, there's actually no greens or oranges adjacent to those, but there's a green there and an orange there.
Yeah.
And so on. So that is fundamentally the game. You keep playing until the turn in which someone completes a sixth drawing, and you can possibly do a 7th or even an 8th if you really time it perfectly, and whoever gets the most points wins.
This is the game that you're trying to reach for the sun, as some famous or infamous YouTubers say, but then ended up in the dirt.
Yes.
Tarrant said that.
Yeah, it's interesting
Yeah.
in that way, because it has this. You don't really see it in the roll and write genre that often, but you've got your Yahtzee roll, and once you've only got these big chunks left, you can get in a situation where you're really trying to make that last roll work, and if it doesn't, your opponents could get 5 dice to play with.
Yeah.
If it works, then yeah, it looks great. And if you use all 5 of your dice, the opponents do still get 1. But yeah, it can all go horribly wrong. And it means there's a surprise, for what sounds really simple, there's a surprising amount of strategy in using the leftover dice to create situations where you've always got things you can close off.
On top of that, there's also a race to complete the border to get the higher point, not the lower point. So that's part of the strategy and part of the reasons why you want to reach for the sun, because you want to be the first one that completes it if no one else has. Especially, look, 12 points is the biggest one, or 4 is the lowest one as the first player that completes it.
Yeah, it has a different feel to most roll and writes out there. I would say it's most similar probably to Copenhagen. That one
Roll and
is
write.
The roll and write, because that one, you don't get a Yahtzee roll in that one, you just get a single roll plus any bonuses, but it has that same thing of whatever you don't use, your opponents can, I think they can only pick up 1, but it still has that feel, and it's exceedingly simple.
It's really simple.
That was
rules,
basically
yeah.
a how to play that I just went through there. There's nothing else you would need to know to play the game.
Yeah. I mean, the first time you have to really think, okay, so you can do, as an active player, you have to close an area, and non-active player, you have to be adjacent to the next one, and then trying to make your area kind of like smaller, so when you are the active player, so you can close it, and then you have to look. It's interactive, and even if it's not, in a way, even though if it's not your turn, you'll be like, oh, what do I get this turn? That space-based feeling, where, oh, what do I get as an active player? You'll get something, at least one, if the active player used all the 5 dice, but you are kind of hoping that, oh, hopefully they can't use anything. It's kind of like, I feel like being mean, that, like, hopefully they don't use anything and we get all 5.
And that actually does, and it also makes for an interesting decision point as the lead player towards the end, when if a lot of green has been coming out early in the game, you know that it might be better to just not re-roll the greens and give everyone dice they can't use, rather than re-roll trying to get that 1 extra die that you can use. When things get tight, it actually does introduce another little element to it.
The strategy. And towards the end, you fill up your green color or something. Like, okay, just leave the green for other players.
So I quite like it. It is a very dry game, and it might be a tad long as well. You do get most of your board filled in. It's timing on those very last turns that's actually likely to decide the game.
Yeah.
And given that, maybe it's a tad long, but it's different, and it's different in a way that I found refreshing.
Yeah. So the border, this is recommended for a simple game that plays 2 to 4 players. To be honest, when I saw it, Michael Kiesling, but then I was like, that looks a bit dry and the mechanic a bit dry, but not until we play it. Like, that's actually interesting, some interesting decisions. And that is the border. Hopefully you enjoy that. Look it up. If you have played it, let us know what you think of it as well. If you can, please hit the like button. We'll be really grateful. And please subscribe if you haven't already done so. Hit the Meeple and hit the bell so you get notification when we have review like this, how to play, my short and sweet, live playthrough on the weekend, and so on. I'm also on Instagram. Hopefully we can find each other there, and we'll hopefully see you next time. Thanks so much for watching. Bye.
Bye.